right, we are going to start this meeting at 2 o'clock. Natalie, can I get Lynn an acknowledgement, please?
Associated Students Incorporated at Sacramento State would like to take a moment to give honor and respect to the ancestors and to the diverse indigenous people connected to this territory on which we meet. The original stewards of this land belong to Nishnal and Patween and Miwok Native Americans. Keep them in your mind, carry them in your hearts, and we ask that you take a moment to consider your ancestors and your relationship to the land we are on. Thank you.
Thank you. Salma, can we get a pledge of allegiance, please?
Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Salma, do we have a moment of silence?
Yes, we do. If everyone can take a moment of silence for Anthony Silveria, who earned their MA in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa, can I please get a roll call?
Thank you. Pacheco,
Present.
De La Garza Garcia,
Here.
Udani,
Here.
Estrella,
Present.
Andrade Dominguez,
Present.
Ayub Galan,
Present.
Nick Dow,
Here.
Canchel,
Here.
Campbell,
Present.
Beltran,
Here.
Bolis,
Here.
Berea,
Here.
Hurst,
Present.
Carroll,
Here.
Curry, Gallardo, Montalvo,
Here.
Guerrero,
Here.
Gill, Reyes,
Here.
Walters, here. Dalton, Rocha. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to move to the approval of minutes of 4/12/2023 board meeting, 4/12/2023 special board meeting, and 4/19/2023 working board meeting. If there are no objections, the minutes will be adopted. Are there any corrections? Excuse me. Okay, seeing none, the minutes have been adopted. Now we're going to move to public comment. Members of the audience may address the board on any item within the jurisdiction of the board or on any agenda item. If you wish to address the board, please sign the speaker identification sheet. When you are called upon to speak, step forward to the podium and state your name and major clearly for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and the overall time is 15 minutes. Those wishing to speak on a non-agenda item will be called upon at the beginning of the meeting. Those wishing to speak for or against an agenda item will be called upon after the item has been officially introduced to the board. Every agenda item will be open for public comment before the board takes formal action on the item. At this time, if there's any public comment, please step forward. Okay, seeing none, we're going to move to our next item, which is consent calendar. Under consent calendar, we have 2022-23-04-122, Estrella Pacheco University Committee appointments. And that's it. And do I have, if there are no objections, the consent calendar will be adopted. Are there any additional items that need to be moved to consent? Okay, the consent calendar has been adopted. Now, the following items have been withdrawn. 2022-23-04-123, Estrella Pacheco, recommendation to the President for University Committee appointments. And then the other item that's withdrawn is 2022-23-04-124, Andrade Dominguez, Estrella Pacheco, Faculty Senate Committee appointments. Okay, now moving forward to new business. We have 2022-23-02-97, De La Garza Garcia, operating rules change to 401 internal committees and work teams. Is there a motion? Wait, that's me. Okay, never mind. I need my vice chair. I need my vice chair. I'm like, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right. So if there are no objections, I would like to pass the gavel to my vice chair. Okay, seeing none. Give us like 1 minute. Okay, so our next item is 2022-23-0297, De La Garza Garcia operating rule change to 400.1 internal committees and work teams. Is there any discussion? Oh, is there a motion? Sorry. Laura.
I move to.
Too excited. I move to approve operating rule change 400.1 internal committees and work teams.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Laura?
Yes. So a lot of the stuff that we talked about last week still on there. One of the things I'll reiterate in most of these committees is we just made it very clear that there is a vice chair. And the reason for that is because the importance of vice chair is just like, we just need it there. We found it that this semester it's like some didn't have a vice chair or it just wasn't clear. So that just reflects throughout all the committees. Next, one of the, let's see, on green team, I know that there was an update on certain things that just are non-existent on this campus anymore. At least they're not under ASI, not under green team. And some of them are the student garden that doesn't belong, it's not under ASI anymore, it's under the family and consumer sciences. There is the farmers market, which we don't have that anymore. Alternatively, we have the ASI pop-ups. And I believe it was the sustainability projects. That's just not it anymore. So we partner with sustainability through green team, and that's just how that alternatively is going to work. In addition to that, there's just a lot of updated titles throughout this campus that these operating rules didn't reflect correctly, so we just updated those. One of the ones was SSSP, the strategic. Alexa, can you please help me out on what the SSSP stands for? Strategic Student Support Programs.
What she said?
That one. It's SSSP. And then another one of the things that I know was reflected on here that I got a couple feedback from some committee chairs, and for the Sexual Assault and Wellness Committee, Lexa, the chair, had suggested some changes, and let me tell you what they are. I remember what they are, but I want to read them accurately. It was the vice chair, like it's going to continue to reflect, and then there is the membership of the students at large changed from 4 to 6, and we had again a vice chair, and then we had somebody be an outreach coordinator. And if Lexa wants to add on to that why the outreach coordinator is there, but I think that is something that the committee can choose. Like they're going to vote on like their vice chair, and I think that's just going to help the committee as a whole. We've seen this year that the committee has been very successful in reaching out and partnering with campus partners, so we want to continue that moving forward. And then for the ASI Director Scholarships, that's another thing that we changed. So if you scroll to, what is it, it's 400.15. I don't know what page that is, but if the number 400.15 helps. Well, she gets to that. The ASI Director Scholarships, due to some changes that we just came across this academic year, we found it fitting that in order to avoid any sort of complication for anybody else that's going to be in charge of the ASI Director Scholarships or just scholarships as a whole. And again, to keep neutrality, for the voting membership, we have the chair, which is myself. We have all the ASI college directors, including the undeclared and graduate directors. So this is, again, you guys graded your scholarships. And then we moved the ex officio membership to actual voting members. So ASI Vice President of Finance, that is Trevisha as of now,
and myself, the executive vice president, to be voting members in case, again, there's a tie, there's some discrepancy, there's some disagreements. We just want to make sure that these scholarships are being awarded correctly and there's no bias, there's again, any discrepancies, we just want to make sure to be very transparent. And then if the vice chair allows, I would like to pass this over to Jerusha.
So, ASI Director Scholarship, historically, it's only been, graded by one person, which is the director. We recently found out that sometimes there could be conflicts or there could be different overviews. Like for the ASI Scholarship, I had like 6 people who graded the ASI Scholarship, which is why the process was so much smoother. But when it came to the Director Scholarship, we found out a bunch of conflicts of interest, and we just wanted to make sure that that doesn't happen moving forward. So we ended up moving the EVP and the VPF as part of the grading process. So for arts and letters, it would be Adderall, myself, and Laura, 3 of us grading, and then we'll be averaging it out, and then the top person gets the scholarship instead of Adderall just grading himself and then the top person getting the scholarship. This is just to make sure that it is still viewpoint neutral in a manner where not only one person can give a scholarship to someone, it has to be 3 people and then it has to average out so there is no conflict of interest in any way and no one can just like hand it out to a random person, someone who doesn't deserve it entirely.
Thank you. Laura. Thank you. And then along with that, I know that there was some feedback on the rubric. So one of the things that we are going to do, and it's in my transitional report, I don't know if you have it on yours. Yeah, okay. So Jerusha has it on hers too. I know that there was a little bit of an issue with the rubric coordinating with the prompts. So what we're going to do, instead of changing the oval, is going to be, if you go to F, yeah, you're right. Can you scroll down just a little bit? You see the one that says what academic community-oriented or extracurricular activities have you been involved in as a Sacramento State student within your academic college? So that is literally going to be copy and pasted to replace where the honors little, well, not prompt, but like the column that said honors. So it reflects accurately. And I know this was feedback that we got from directors, and I'm very happy you guys give us that feedback because it does make sense, and we want to make that easier for students at large to understand. And then one thing I did forget to mention, this is besides the ASI Director Scholarships, on the Wellness, Safety, and Sexual Assault Awareness Committee, and if the chair allows, I would like Lexa to also just speak on this a little bit, give the rationale why we're changing this based on what she has seen. But other than the student membership, there is also examples that we gave, and you know what? If the chair allows, the vice chair allows, I'm going to have Alexa speak on her suggestions. Alexa?
Yeah, so I made a couple changes just because the membership has changed a bit. So for instance, we saw that it is important for there to be fraternity and sorority representation, especially since they are a big population here on campus. And with recent events that have happened over the year, it is important for this committee to be present and proactive. And aside from that, I know that the Sexual Violence Awareness Team is looking to collaborate with this committee directly since it's mostly students. So they just want to make sure that there's representation and that they're able to consistently work together to, make things happen. And then the minimum of students at large has changed as well, since there's a lot of students who sit on that committee, and some of them joined late, so that meant that they weren't voting members. So seeing that the membership will be growing, then it's also prudent for there to be more voting members. That is all.
Laura? Salma?
I'm gonna actually move off of this. I have a question about Lobby Corps.
Yeah. Let me actually, I'm sorry. Laura, just on the sexual assault, I just want to clarify because I just realized this. I know it looks like it says 46, it's not. There's a strike through the 4, but since the 4 is like done up like that, it's strike through. It's not 46 students, it's 6 students. I just want to make that clear. That's it. Salma.
Yeah, so for Lobby Corps, what I'm looking at here is under voting members, It says 2 ASI non-executive board members. So historically, for the last like 4 years, I believe, at least the last 3 years, the ASI president has sat on Lobby Corps and hasn't been able to be a voting member. So therefore, Lobby Corps wouldn't have been in compliance with the 2 board members because I'm an executive member and Adderall currently this year is not. So we didn't meet the requirement for voting members in Lobby Corps because I wasn't given rights to vote. And it looks here that it's gonna stay as non-executive board members. So, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Laura? Yeah, okay, so what do you suggest I change it to just board members? Because I know that, at least for this time around, you know, if everybody's schedule was very packed today, and we find it challenging to meet the specific membership of ASI board members on committees, and that was just challenging. You can't help, you can't switch your classes sometimes, I understand that. So, moving forward, what do you suggest? Salma?
Well, it says for 2, it says non-voting members is executive officers or designees, so maybe striking that, and then striking the non-executive board member. So it would be 2 ASI board members that would give executive.
Are you making an amendment, or
Moving to amend.
are you just still discussing?
Sure, I will make an amendment. I move to amend under the Lobby Corps Committee, so 412, section, or part C, where it says 2 ASI non-executive board members, I move to amend that to strike the non-executive. Second.
Thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Rob?
Hello? Oh, yeah, I was just curious, does anyone know the history of this and why it was non-executive board members to begin with, what the rationale was? And that would be potentially a question for Lisa.
So, to the best of my knowledge, this membership hasn't changed in the 10 years since I've been here. And maybe it was never an issue that we always had at least 2 board members. But since this year we had 1 non-executive and 1 executive board member, then we didn't have 2 voting members of the committee.
Salma?
I have another amendment.
Okay, let's finish this one. Any other discussion on this amendment? Alexa?
I think that considering that execs have a lot of priorities under their role, having there to be an exec member on this committee would just make a lot more work, especially if they're not meeting quorum, that it's expected for an exec member to be a part of this committee. I know that we had problems earlier this year with them meeting membership or another committee meeting membership, so I think that we have to also consider that.
Salma?
So striking the non-executive would not require an executive board member to sit on this. This would allow an executive board member, if they so choose to serve on this committee as a voting member. Because as it's described right now, this would require the board of directors, the college directors, to assume this responsibility. And if, like the schedules this year didn't allow them to, then that means that we only had 1 ASI board member that was a voting member on this committee. So by striking that, we would just be expanding access and expanding the voting membership of this committee, not requiring an executive member.
Javisha?
I would be more comfortable if you put at least 1 college director as part of the requirement, or it will be possible that 2 execs are serving when there's a lot of committees that are chaired by execs, and then directors would just be like, it could be anyone who could serve. So I would be more comfortable. I know it says 2 ASI board members, if you could put at least 1 college director, like 1 college director and 1 ASI board member, which could be anyone.
Laura?
Sorry, I just want to make sure that we're still on the amendment.
Yeah.
Okay,
Still
so-
discussing the amendment right now.
This is still discussion of the amendment, right?
Right, and so are you making a formal amend the amendment, or you're just discussing?
Can I
what the-
re-amend?
Okay.
Can I amend my amendment?
Or reword it?
Someone else? That's a-
But if there is no objection, if you want to reword your amendment?
Salma, if there's no objections, do you want to reword your amendment?
Yes,
Nobody
please.
objects? Okay.
Okay. So I want to re-amend Part C to
Or
say.
Just start over.
Oh, okay, I move to
It's
amend
easier to follow.
the Lobby Corps Section Committee 412, Part B, 1C, technically is what that is, to say two ASI board members and at least one one college director, one non-executive member.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
I thought that was a separate. Okay, and I would like to move under the non-voting members section, remove Part A for the ACSUS executive officers and designees.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on that amendment? Laura?
Can I ask why you want to remove that one person from the non-voting?
Salma?
Because that means that
It's a conflict.
it, yeah, that would still prevent an executive member from voting.
Trish? Okay, is there any other discussion on this amendment? All right, seeing none, we'll vote on the amendment. All those in favor of, amending 400.12 Lobby Corps, the membership to make any two ASI board members, including one non-executive member, and remove Part A, which does not allow executive membership to have voting rights. Raise your hands. Okay, you can put your hands down. All those opposed, please raise your hands. All right, the amendment has been adopted. Okay, so now we're back on the item. Is there any discussion on the item? On the amended item, Justin?
Oh, sorry, not the same item. It was dropped item.
So it's not the same one, it's just this whole item in general, but just the
yeah.
amended. Justin?
Okay, apologies for the confusion there. Way up at the top, like the second or third page, item B3, where it talks about the strategic, sorry, maybe it's one of these pages. It's definitely B3.
There's 20 pages.
Yeah, higher up. I know it was a B3, which was edited to add in the, here I have the document.
It's down
Okay, item 400.9. Yeah, Student Social Justice and Equity Council. Super controversial suggestion. Under B3, it says strategic I, there should be a C after that. It's not something I have to do.
Yeah, that's just grammatical.
Sorry, my apologies,
It's
I
okay,
control my
thank
motion.
you. Any other discussions or comments on this item, the amended item?
I circled it and put spelling on it.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 2022-23-0297, De La Garza Garcia, operating rule change to 400.1 internal committees and work team, please raise your hands. Okay, you can put your hands down. All those opposed? All right, the item has been adopted unanimously. And yeah, if there are no objections, I'd like to turn it back over to Laura. go to.
Give me 1 second, I kind of lost myself here.
Thank you. All right, we have our next item, which is 2022-2023 04-125 Budani, approval of the ASI Spring 2023 scholarships. Is there a motion? Chair Bishop?
I move to approve 2022-23-04-125 approval of the ASI Spring 2023 scholarships.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Chair Bishop?
Let's start passing the folders. Make sure those are for voting member eyes only while I talk about the legislation. So the ASI scholarships opened up on February 17, 2023, and they closed on March 17, 2023. All the committee members had access to application and essays no later than March 30, and we returned back the rubrics, averaging everything out to Emily by April 14th, and then which went to Student Affairs, where we checked their eligibility according to our criteria, making sure that they are still eligible. Well, okay, I will slow down. Want me to repeat it?
It's okay, so slow.
Okay. My scholarship committee was made up of myself, the chair. We had one ASI director, AZ. We had one ASI student assistant, which was Gabby. And we had, the members are required at least 2 students at large, but we had 3 students at large who ended up grading for the ASI scholarship. So there were about 6 people who graded all of the scholarships. There were about 114 of the normal ASI scholarships. We had about 15 of social justice, about 10 of United States Armed Forces and student veterans, and around 30 of Dreamers, and about 15 for students to services with disabilities. We had an overall really good turnout, and there were no problems with us going through student affairs. If there are any questions, I will answer them now. Just to remind you all, the names are for voting members, eyes only, and they will go public right after. I think they will send it tomorrow. So the recipients will be notified tomorrow, as well as the people who did not receive the scholarship, and the checks will be available May 11th to May 12th. And if they don't pick it up, they will be mailed out. If there are any questions at this time, I will answer them.
Just give it to him.
No, if you want to look again.
Oh, I didn't know that, sorry.
I was going to bring it. I was trying to see it. It's good.
All right, let's keep those side conversations to no side conversations, please. I appreciate it. Thank you. No side conversations.
Alrighty, now we're gonna move to a vote. All in favor of 2022-23-04-125 Budani, approval of ASI 2023 scholarships, please raise your hand.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand.
Thank you. The item has been adopted unanimously. All right, our next item, we have 2022-23-04-126 De La Garza Garcia, Budani, approval of the ASI Director Scholarships. Is there a motion? Chair Bishop?
I move to postpone 2022-23-04-126 approval of ASI Director Scholarship to May 10th.
Second.
If there are no objections, the item will be postponed until May 10th. Alrighty. Our next thing that we have on here is our reports. You will have, what did I say? I said 3 minutes to deliver your report and 2 minutes for questions. Execs, this is your last report. Tell us everything, for the most part. Our first report, we have Ms. Selma Pacheco. Whenever you're ready.
My apologies, I forgot to print my board report. But I turned it in on time in PDF format. I did what I was supposed to do. All right, lots of things. Basically, my little special note is saying adios. We're almost done. Finals are here. I will be gone. I'm very excited, as you can tell. Lobby Corps, we had 2 meetings since the last time I was here. My university committees for this last month were the Out of the Darkness Committee, the IRA, which is the Instructionally Related Activities Committee, the Sacramento State Alumni Association Board, Critical Response Team, and Student Fee Advisory Committee. All of my strategic priorities are done. I do things in my office hours. Some really cool things that I have done in this last month are the cabinet budget presentations. It's really, really cool to see how money talks on our campus and how I get to be a part of that and ensure that students get the best and most out of their education. So there was that. I had meetings with Dr. Mills. I had meetings with President Nelson. Another really cool thing that I did, I guess, that I forgot about last week was I got to go and advocate on behalf of Sacramento State students at our Capitol. So I was invited to go with other CSU ASI presidents to go and advocate on all of your behalf on Capitol Hill. So that was a really, really cool experience. Many of you in this room had the privilege of having one-on-one meetings with me in the last month. Had lots of those. Something really cool that I want to highlight was the Green and Gold Gala. I had to give a speech and I didn't realize how many people I was going to make cry. Good tears. But I also did some crying because I think it's exceptional to be in a room where people want to give back to students and to help students succeed. And so just in that room, we raised over $300,000 for students. And it was really awesome to be a part of that. So I just wanted to highlight that. Another one is the Out of the Darkness Walk, another super impactful event that I had the privilege to speak at. Also just as meaningful because it's good for others to know that we care. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Salma? What was your favorite part about the Green and Gold Gala? Salma?
My favorite part was that there were so many students in the room. I think it's an amazing opportunity to learn what all the different utensils on the table mean and what to do with them. And it's also super fun for like students to have that experience of dressing up, kind of like prom, but 2.0 and even better. So I think that was a really great opportunity, and it was just fun to hang out with other students and not be the only one in the room.
Thank you. Is there any other questions for someone? Okay, next board report is mine. A little bit of a shorter one just because stuff is just coming to an end. And this is so weird because this is my second year on the board, and it's just like, I thought last year was the end, but like it wasn't. But like this year is for real the end. So I invite you all to read my little note. I'm not gonna read it because I will cry. I want to cry, so I will not cry. Anyway, so one of the things that has been really exciting to do that I've seen board members really take a lead on this, specifically Chris and Adderall, was the collaboration with student marketing and outreach. I know that this was a project that, you know, when somebody asks you to take a survey, you're probably not going to finish it. And I'm just talking as a general user. Like, I don't finish my surveys unless there's an incentive. That sounds bad, but it's reality. People are not just going to do it and take time out of their day. But I know that Chris and Adderall have been working really hard with student marketing and outreach to collect the survey responses for to figure out how aware our students are of the resources here on our campus, some of those being ASI resources. So I know Adderall is probably going to share how many responses we have during announcements. So that has been one of the highlights, just to see it evolve and to see them to being so involved in this and so engaged. And you know, they do outreach very differently. Very differently. You know, Adderall is all day in my life camera, and then Chris is more like, you know, very personal with people, more or less on camera. And I love to see that. Like that just shows how much of a versatile board we are, and I'm really proud of that. So kudos to you too. Thank you for that. Clothing drive has been a busy priority. It's coming to an end also, but I know that we had the opportunity to have a lot of clothes donated, and that's also really like warming to see, because it shows that, you know, our administrators, faculty on our campus support our students, and it's something they actually stand by, as opposed to just not, saying it and not doing it. So that has been really, we have a lot of clothes still that I know we might have to donate. So if any student is in need of professional clothes, there's a lot of them, and they're kind of everywhere. So hop into the office or just stop by one of the centers. I believe right now it's at the APTA Center. Let's see what else. Office hours has been concluding. Transitional board reports pretty lengthy. One-on-one meetings, just again concluding things with either Salma or Sandra or Lisa. We have had our ASI meetings, and then concluding my committee meetings as well. I have my last committee meeting for Student Social Justice and Equity Council for the Green Team and for Student Marketing and Outreach, May 8th. And then lastly, the Green and Gold Speaker Series. Rob, shout out to you. Thank you. That was so much fun. That times normally didn't work out for me for this Green and Gold Speaker Series, but that one did. And I think, you know, the speaker had a lot to say, and he mentioned Michigan, and I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I was like, okay, cool. So I like that. I like the conversation that took place and the questions that they got. So thank you, Rob. I had a lot of fun. Anyway, signing off. You'll see me on TV reporting your news soon.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm doing a mic drop as if I don't have to talk again. I'm sorry. Our next board report is Jerisha.
For my personal note, I just said it feels surreal that this will be my last board report. I've given a lot of them. Very glad that it's coming to an end and I can move into next chapter of my life. To all the graduating honors, congratulations. I'm not graduating yet. I have one more semester left. You will see me around, probably not in committee meetings though. For ASI Finance and Budget Committee, we have been meeting for the past few weeks. Even though we just approved the ASI budget, we wanted to work on changing how the student employment grant looks. Like we talked, the pie has been getting so thin that there is literally nothing left to give. So we are gonna propose it in a way where it still looks like a big pie that ASI is giving away. It's just gonna be smaller in a different way. You will find that out in the last legislation cycle, so stay tuned. For the ASI Scholarship Committee, we just approved them, so that is a good one. We have one more meeting left for UEI Board. Student Fee Advisory Committee met last Friday, but I was busy with the Director of Finance and Administration interviews. But I did connect with the chair just to make sure that I'm updated with everything. And the Campus Grants Program Committee concluded on November 15th, and we met on February 7th. I've attended a lot of meetings, and I'm done with all the requirements as to the university events, as well as classroom presentations. I am serving as one of the members on the ASI Director of Finance and Administration Search Committee, since Mark will be leaving soon. My responsibility is to make sure that we have someone somewhat as cooler as Mark. No one can beat it. But yes, I just want to make sure it's someone that is very student friendly and could talk the way that students understand. So really looking forward to meeting more people and making sure that the chair is filled. As for DOC, there is no money left because we transferred all of it. We ended up funding 206 clubs, the highest we've ever funded. So that is amazing. Our strategic priorities, I have completed all of them. As per my email yesterday, I said there's approximately 2,200 left, but now I have a number, which is $1,822 left. Make sure you read my email and email me back by tomorrow, 3 p.m., so I can take into account your ideas and how we could spend the remaining $1,822. Keep in mind that this still has to be connected to a strategic priority, so when you're sending me ideas, make sure you link them to what priority you think it's gonna connect to. But yeah, thank you. Peace out.
Oh, solid with the time. Okay, is there any questions for Dervisha? Alrighty, we're gonna move to our next board report. Alexa.
Hello, everyone. So I want to read a little bit of my notes. Please take care of yourself before you take care of others, because you matter. And this goes to everybody. And just smile through it all, as I like to say. For the Wellness, Safety, and Sexual Assault Awareness Committee, we've hosted 3 special presentations regarding sexual assault awareness, reporting to the police, and crisis assistance and educational support, so CARES. And the students participated in the Teal Tuesday, so some of them tabled, and most of the committee members will be attending Take Back the Night, which is amazing. This has been a very proactive committee, and I just look forward to see what they do next, the next year. And as for the university committee updates, the Union Well Inc. Board of Directors, we met today. We went over the budget for next year, as well as just a lot of money things. And the 5K is tomorrow, so definitely still register. There's close to 1,000 students that have already registered, so register and volunteer. And then as for the AICP University Committee, we reflected on the AICP Symposium and how to be a proactive council moving forward. For the police advisory, we are meeting in May, so no updates there. And for the sexual violence awareness team, no updates, but Take Back the Night is today in the library quad. It starts at 4:30, so definitely come out. The last legislation we voted on sponsoring for Teal Tuesday, so we moved that to creating an opportunity drawing, so we'll be giving away some swag, so if you know students, let them know to come. There's going to be amazing stuff given out. For strategic priority updates, I'm fully done with all of them. As for the close, once we're done with distributing, I'm happy to say that aside from the Dreamer Resource Center, other centers on campus will be establishing as RAC. So the close will be divided into all the centers. And as a former, a student at large with the Dreamer Resource Center, I was part of the planning of creating the closet. So now seeing that a lot of centers are going to have this is going to be really amazing. As for my meetings and all of that, it was really nice to be a part of the Out of the Darkness walk and talk about my experience. It's the first time that I've really shared about my childhood and all of that, so I know that many students related, and that's the whole point, to let them know that they're not alone, and that, you know, we all have a story. Last week I was able to attend the Coalition of Human Immigration Rights, CHIRLA, Advocacy Days, so I lobbied for a lot of the bills that relate to me and also other students, as well as the AB 311.
Any questions for Alexa? Teresa? Is there something you would like to add? Alexa?
But yeah, it's really important to be able to have these opportunities, but also let students know that these opportunities exist. And with that said, I will be working with CHIRLA soon. So I'm really excited for that, just because you know, there's a lot of things that need to change in society, but also a lot of more students that are undocumented need to see that these opportunities are there and that these resources are there. So if you know of any students that need to renew their DACA, CHIRLA does provide to pay the whole fees. So I know that's coming up, so please let them know to renew their DACA, because they have to start the process 3 months in advance before it expires.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Alexa. Natalie, you are up.
Okay, hello everyone. Very sad this is my last report as VPAA. It was a pleasure. So going into internal committee updates, Student Economic Senate, there's a typo there. It's supposed to say 14. I didn't have the 4. But we met the 14th and we went over the last of our priorities and the policies that we were advocating for to change. And thankfully, they are finally on Faculty Senate's agenda. So it was a long, long year of advocating for policy change, but we finally made it to the last stepping stone, and it's already at Faculty Senate, so we're going to see how they go with amending and adopting those changes we recommended. And then our last meeting is the 28th of this month, and the Senate will be over. Green Team, our main focus was Earth Day throughout the last kind of 3 meetings. And then we did table for Earth Day, and that was pretty exciting. It was very hot, but it was exciting just seeing everyone being outside and learning more about sustainability. And last meeting for Green Team is the 8th. Faculty Senate Executive met every Tuesday. A lot of new policies are coming in because they finally went through all these subcommittees. So once they go to the subcommittees, they go to exec, and then exec kind of condenses and establishes what Faculty Senate wants to talk about and what policies they're going to see. So right now we're getting all the policies that all the subcommittees have been working on for the year. So it's a busy time right now for the Senate, but we've been focusing a lot of new policies, interim policies, and just updating and amending current policies we already have. So Faculty Senate has been meeting every Thursday because of how many policies were coming in. So it's a lot of reading policies on my end, making sure that the student perspective is always involved when they're talking about the new policies. So it's been a lot, but it's always good work. Up to my strategic priorities, all of them are completed. We had coffees with commuters last week on Wednesday, so we finally got that done, and that was great. I just want to commend the team for waking up early and getting here on time. Office hours, same old thing. Today, I kind of just want to highlight that I met with the elect VPAA for this position, and she's just really excited. Just kind of going through like that emotion of getting into a new term. So that was an amazing meeting today.
30 seconds.
Meeting I want to highlight is the Out of the Darkness walk. It was in a very crucial and emotional day, but it was very, very well needed for our Sac State community. And lastly, I'll just highlight the classroom presentation that we went to with Lisa at a high school, and just talking to high school seniors about Sac State and trying to recruit them to come to Sac State. So that was great. Yeah, that concludes my presentation, my board report.
Any questions for Natalie? Okay, seeing none. Tom, you're up.
again, thank you for having me this semester. It was exciting to be added to the board midway, and I feel like I've been getting up to speed as we go along. I'm excited for the opportunity to start from the beginning. I feel like I missed out on all the fun stuff over the summer. People tell me about some of the best parts of it, and I missed all that, so I'm excited to do that with the new board, and sad I didn't get to do that with all of you. I did ask the Health Center for some information on what they wanted you all to know, and they wanted you all to know how successful Out of the Darkness Walk was, so I provided that information within there. There's some numbers of people who were there. It was really a great activity. I also provided a bunch of activities that are coming up. We are in our most busy time at Sac State. Spring is that. When the sun comes out and we get towards final, it also is stressful, so make sure, like everyone said, you take care of yourself, find balance, and do some things that are fun out there once in a while, things that you enjoy. But there's a ton of really cool stuff coming up. Biz Connect through the Carlson Center is coming up. It's Small Business Week. Hornet Marketplace is coming up. They sell a whole bunch of stuff. It's right before Mother's Day, so if you're looking for a gift, and also right before graduation, so if you're looking for other gifts, they sell jewelry, all sorts of fun stuff. Our ceramics department, all the students who've been making art all year, set up a shop and also sell some really cool stuff. There's a really cool art exhibit that's going to be in the University Union. I recommend you check it out. It is free. The Disability Access Center was formerly known as Students for Service with Disabilities. They have changed their name to Disability Access Center. They wanted to make sure you all knew that, and they're putting the word disability forward so that they're more recognizable. It's easy for students to find. There's a lot of really awesome things that are kind of going to come of that, and they're also creating more center-like feels within their space. Scroll down. The MCC is hosting a graduation cap party for the decorating party for those that are looking to decorate their caps. Really exciting, and it's one of the coolest things, I think. One of my favorite parts of Sac State and working here is going to commencement. It's the happiest time of graduation celebrations. It is pure happiness, and students can display their connection to anything on the top of their cap. So it's really exciting to see that happen. There's going to be changes to the testing center sometimes during finals, just to make sure that we have the ability to accommodate all accommodated requests for exams. We're there. And lastly, I want to make sure that you all knew that outside of commencement, there are identity group graduation celebrations. They're really awesome events. Students, families, friends, community members all coming together and hang out. And celebrate our graduates. Very lively, very exciting. It's one of my favorite things to attend. So if you have time, I highly recommend checking those out because it's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Tom. Is there any questions? All right, we have our next board member, which is Gina, but she is not here. So we are going to Mark. You're up.
Yay, Mark.
Thank you, Chair. Also, can I make a special request and not be timed?
You know what? Just because you're retiring, Mark, I'll allow it.
Okay, this is my final report, and Lisa did request that I make a report including numbers, since she really likes the numbers that I give. So I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you. Well, it's been 12 and a half great years, and I've really enjoyed ASI coming from a high school district. This has been a fantastic place to work. But by the numbers, ironically, that very first one, 12 and a half years, 8 board reports, this is my 100th report. The next one, well, let's talk about elected board members. I work with 13 boards and 14 elected/appointed members, so 182 students that I've worked with over the years. Do I remember them all? Probably most of them, but sometimes I have a challenge remembering names. Even the lady that sits next to me here, sometimes I forget her name. It's okay, it's just maybe a nation. So the next one, number of board meetings. Well, 12 and a half years. Lisa said 28 meetings per year, 350 board meetings. So ironically, that's another round number. I like round numbers. That's what I live by, round numbers. And then the next one, number of parliamentarians. Well, I've worked with 4. Scott Burns, some of you might have remembered him. He was around for a long time. And actually, he was ASI president
as senator.
Yeah, for a long time. So he was with ASI and then became a parliamentarian. And then Lorenzo stepped in for a while. I think some of you, Vicki might have worked with Lorenzo. But then Tammy came on and she's worked with us for a few years. And then of course Vicki has subbed in with us. So thank you, Vicki. So those are the four. So F&B meetings. So 12 and a half years, 15 meetings per year. And that's 188 meetings for finance and budget. So it's been a great time, and I really enjoy that one because that's all about numbers. Let's see, total budget dollars, 13 budgets, and if you add them all up, it's $116 million that ASI has been working with over the time frame. I think we started around $4.5 million, or just over $11 million now. Number of graduations. 20, how does that work after 12 and a half years? Well, you might remember commencement also had a winter commencement ceremony at ARCO, but it became a little too expensive to have a winter and a spring at DOCO, so they just have gone with the spring. So that's how I got to 20. I was working both graduations. And even though it says 20 polos there, I think in the winter we had some nice jackets actually that weren't polos, so we did get some nice outerwear, especially when you were working outside in the cold and rainy and had an umbrella out in the parking lot. But it was well worth it because, like Tom said, it's an exciting time. Students are happy, parents are happy, and it's great for the students, and it's fun to be part of that. So I had a great run at that. Let's see, number of hours at the board retreat. Well, it would start Friday at 5 o'clock. And it used to go Sunday till about 4, I think, but then Lisa didn't want to pay for lunch on Sunday, so we got cut off at noontime at Sunday. So it's roughly 43 hours for retreat and 516 hours of retreat time. But it was all productive time, no wasted time there. Okay, this is an odd one, but miles driven, I just decided to look at that one because it's to Sac State from my home. It's 16 and a half miles one way, so times 2. And it's roughly about 240 work days a year that I would physically be here after vacation or sick and everything. I didn't call sick that much, but mostly vacation. And here's another round number that just kind of blew my mind, 99,000 driven miles. Another good one. But the thing about that too is I didn't adjust for COVID, but I said, well, I worked weekends too, so let's kind of offset that. But I was here 3 or 4 days out of the week during COVID anyways, and it got lonely, but it was well worth it. And here's a big one. Number of minutes working and associating with youth development. I've been here 10 years, roughly 220 days. 8 hours a day, 60 minutes. It's over 1 million minutes that I was working and associating with Lisa Dalton. So it's been a great 99 minutes working with you, Lisa. So anyways, but many thanks to all of you. You've been a great board. You have your future ahead of you. You'll do great. And by sitting on this board, it's going to put you ahead of other individuals that you're going for out in the job force. So good luck to you, and I'm proud of you, and just a couple more weeks and you graduating. I'll see some of you. I work Saturday morning at commencement. Yeah, I'll see you there. We start early, but the rest of you that might serve on the board or might be next year at Sac State, good luck to you, and stay with it, and it flies by. Believe me, it really flies by, so thank you very much.
Any questions for Mark?
So one of the things we forgot to include in here is that I have had the wonderful pleasure of hearing the budget report from Mark 3 times each year. And I'm finishing up my 10th year. So 30 times I got to hear the budget report, and what a fabulous job he does, and such a pleasure, and I can't wait to heckle the next DFA.
Sechi?
First of all, no wonder that you're a DFA because of your board report that contains all the numbers. And this is the best board report with each minor details I have seen till now. And I hope that your every single minute, mile, day, meeting, everything just worth it till now. We'll miss you.
Thank you, Mark. Tom?
And as someone who sits on the commencement committee, You are welcome to come back in the future and volunteer, especially as we see these board members going to graduate.
Any more questions for Mark? Alexa?
Mark, you've been really amazing. Personally, I've come to you for questions and stuff like that, and I know that I'm not the only one. You're always there to hear us and give us advice, so thank you, and I really appreciate all your hard work as well as how wise you are.
All right, I'm gonna move on because all these tears that are like brewing can just be at the celebration. I just don't want to deal with them right now. All right, any other questions? Questions, please. Okay, we have our next board report. Rob, you're up.
I just want to follow that.
Okay, just a few things, right? Laura mentioned the Green and Gold Speaker Series that was focused on environmental justice with Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali. The whole goal and intended outcomes for that event was to do more than just talk about environmental justice, but to make a connection between historical oppression and how that continues to impact lower income communities, especially those that happen to be BIPOC. So I think the speaker did a fabulous job making those connections and really sort of inspiring and encouraging us to continue to trace back the sources of those oppressive practices and the systems and structures that continue to hold people back. So obviously the environment is important for us all, and the feedback was overwhelming that folks want to learn more about his work and also just to understand more about the historical and structural oppression that continues to plague us. If you scroll down, I know I put on as many of these learning outcomes as I could, but if you scroll down to the next event, the next event I believe was the symposium. I was able to analyze the data from the symposium. I'm very excited about some of the commitments and actions that people stated that they would sort of continue focusing on for themselves and for the campus community. After the symposium, we had over 500 registrants, and it was raining that day, so I believe it was in the upper 300 attendees. But if you scroll down just a little bit more, keep going. So folks are saying things like they want to continue immersing themselves in communities outside their own. They want to be visible and accessible to students for mentorship and connection. That engaging students in research helps fill gaps in representation among faculty and staff. That they want to meet with campus level leaders. Committed to continuing process of breaking down all of programs and policies and procedures within their units. Hiring and focusing on hiring practices so we can diversify our faculty and staff. So that's just some of the great things that came out that were voiced by all of the wonderful workshops that we were able to offer, the action collaborations.
30 seconds.
Oh, great. Okay. Anyway, also the Anti-Racism Inclusive Campus Action Plan. IRT and IE have been working on developing an online tracking tool so we can monitor our progress on each of the goals and objectives. That should be coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm very excited that that's coming out. And it will be housed on the IE website and available to ensure transparency.
Anybody got any questions? Salma?
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Rob?
Yeah, although I can't follow Mark in the same way, this is my final report as well. Part of adulting is that you have to sort of prioritize your goals, and I need time to finish my dissertation so I can be a doctor. So I decided to separate from the university so I can focus full time on that. I do want to say it's been quite a privilege and an honor, being on the board for 2 years, watching people like Laura and Dhruvisha really grow and soar. But also to just watch you all be so committed to social justice, so committed to authentically amplifying student voice. You all are my inspiration, and so I can't wait to see how far you go and how much impact you make on the community. So I've just been very honored, and thank you very much.
All right. Now we're done with board reports. Or just kidding. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That was such a joke. Someone, did you have something?
I'm sorry, Rob, I need to say it now before you dip out. One, representation is super important. So on behalf of the little Latina girl that's sitting here, thank you for getting your doctorate and prioritizing your education, because seeing that and seeing how important it is in your next steps just makes it even more special and makes all of the other people who you represent be seen. So, thank you.
Miguel, you're up. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that.
I don't have to do the report. I can't, match the same veracity and energy as Robert and Mark, I'm not even gonna try, but thank you, both of you. This is just coming out of using my time. Thank you for being here and doing the work that you do. I wish you both well on your future endeavors, and I wish personally I would have had more time to talk with you guys further and, just get acquainted and stuff. It's been a real pleasure having you guys here. And so I'll just quickly go over my report. The CSSA plenary meeting was held virtually over Zoom on Saturday, April 1st from 9 a.m. to 3:20 and Sunday, April 2nd. I'm not even going to bother with the times, honestly. Basically, the meeting consisted of taking actionable stances on 4 legislative bills, discussion over system-wide policies, approval of the CSSA budget for 2023 to 2024, and information regarding the upcoming CSSA executive officer elections, which was held on a separate meeting on Sunday, April 16th. I have the results for the executive officers up on the report. If any of you are interested, I've also sent an email informing you guys regarding the results. And it is also assumed that the vice president for finance for the CSSA will be announced at the May plenary meeting, which is going to be held on May 6th and 7th at CSU Bakersfield. There have been 3 meetings for the Lobby Corps Committee since my last report. As of right now, the Lobby Corps Committee has taken action on 7 bills, which I also have the results posted up on there. And the next Lobby Corps meeting will be tomorrow from 4:30 to 5:30 in the Capitol Room on the 3rd floor of the Union. And yeah, I've been just doing the same old me in OGA. I hope I've been helping you guys out throughout this, past year. I hope that my job has helped, support many of you, and, I look forward to continuing my work for the incoming board as well. I've been starting to essentially think about how I can better improve on my position for the board for next year, as well as more engagement within the CSSA.
30 seconds.
Thank you. And I just want to give a brief update that Civic Challenge points, we have until this Friday, April 28th at 5 p.m. to submit any further submissions. As of right now, from what I got from Shannon, we have 885 points for this semester, and Cal State East Bay has 205 points. I have still yet to submit a few last minute points, so those results will be announced at the plenary meeting for May. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions from you? Okay, Lisa?
My question is, Miguel, have you heard from any board members who are supporting you on the civic competition and provided their documentation of different things that they've done that we could be earning civic points for?
Miguel?
Yes, I have heard from one member who has submitted a photo of their recent venture in the Capitol, and so I'm looking forward to submitting points for that. And I'll be following up with more people for, their submissions that I know we can definitely fill these categories in before Friday.
What's a way that we can do that, other than the pick? I know that going to CSA meetings is one, right? Or am I mistaken? You go.
So, I did send out a civic challenge list. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but you can look through the list that I sent out there. And basically, if you have any submissions, like flyers or photos of any things that may have matched the civic challenges, you can send those to me, and I supply those materials to Shannon. I input those points, and they get registered for the overall challenge.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Any other questions for Miguel? All right. Did I miss anybody? No. I really do apologize. I'm so sorry. Okay, that concludes our board reports, last board reports for the execs, the ex officio, and the advisors. Thank you, everybody. Now we have announcements. What are your announcements? Alexa.
Many centers on campus are holding cultural graduations, so if you know of any students, please let them know. I know that recently the Junior Research Center went ahead and planned their docu graduation, so this is something new, so definitely spread the word. If you are a mixed status student, which means that you are a citizen, but you have family who isn't documented, you are considered mixed status, so this graduation applies to you. So yeah, definitely go to these graduations. They're really amazing, and it's nice to celebrate what you've accomplished. So definitely take advantage of these.
Admiral.
Okay, so the Student Marketing and Outreach Committee survey, our goal was 200, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, that's 217 responses?
Can't understand.
We got 217 responses in the survey, and our goal was 200, so we went over our goal, which is great, and yeah, I'll talk about it more on my board report, so TBA.
Tom?
Really excited. Really excited to hear about another celebration. Email me the details and I'll get it added to the campus website that has the celebration.
Thank you. Any other announcements for myself and Sadmichael? Natalie?
I thought I would share this out so everyone else can spread it to their colleges, because I just learned about this. You can apply to graduation once you have 85 units. Yes, so apply and you get priority registration when you are applying for the next semester. So definitely spread that out, that you can apply already. There's like a $75 application fee, but you do get priority registration when you're applying for your classes. And another thing as well that I've seen a trend, especially now because its registration's open and a lot of students want to book advising appointments. Students can book appointments through their success centers in their college, because if they do it through the general advising, they're gonna get an appointment way later than they might get through their college. So especially for the college directors, if you're getting questions about registration or advising, send them to your success center within your college, and they're probably going to get an appointment within the day or two, or there's even drop-in hours, so they're not waiting as long. Because registration is open right now, it's really crucial for students to know that they have success centers within their college that they might not know about.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Mr. Bishop?
I'm not sure, Tom, if you know, but International Programs and Global Engagement has graduation for international students. If you want, I can forward you more information. If you know any international students, please let them know if they're graduating, they're holding a ceremony. Just to reiterate what I said during my board report, make sure you are responding to my email before or by 3 p.m. tomorrow in telling me how should we spend the remaining money, which is $1,822. We need to make sure that there is $0 left, so go down. Okay. And yeah, that's it. Just reach out to me and I'll make sure to put in the legislation for our last legislation cycle. Thank you.
Any other announcements? Miguel?
So just to reiterate, just for the minute's sake, CSEC plenary, May 6th or 7th, it's literally 1 week from now. It'll be the last meeting of the academic year, and it'll be held at Bakersfield. And again, they will announce the Civic Challenge winners for first, second, and third place over there, so I will update you when that happens. And then the final lobby corps meeting, this will be the final lobby corps meeting of the year, tomorrow from 4:30 to 5:30 in the Capitol Room on the 3rd floor of the university. And just really quickly, I want to say it's been an absolute honor to serve with each and every one of you here on the board. You've been an amazing partner at CSSA, Salma, so thank you. And yeah, I look forward for the incoming board and just, get started on it as soon as we can. And just remember, yes we can, si se puede,
Any other announcements? All right, I will go and then Sally can finish us off. A couple deadlines. So this is your last board report, but you still have your transitional board report, and that is due May 5th, no later than noon. Please send it to me in PDF format, CC Evely and Lisa. Again, these board reports should not be the length that your regular monthly board report should be. That everything should be on here. What you didn't do, what you should have done, advice, anything that you want to, anything and everything really that you want to tell the next person is going to be in your position. Again, transitional board reports are due May 5th, no later than noon. We have an alumni networking event today from 4 to 6 in Riverview Hall, the Elderberry and Beetle Room. And then we also have, like Lexa mentioned, the Take Back the Night. So I sent out an email reminder, and I apologize for having the one little wrong date, but Jervis already kind of corrected that. We need ASI Board of Directors presence in one event or the other. So we're going to divide and conquer. If you cannot go, I asked in an email to please tell me why you can't go. Only one person has communicated with me, so I expect half of y'all to go to one and half of y'all to go to the other one, because we need ASI presence in both of them. Okay, we have, most of us are wearing denim. A lot of us are wearing denim, so stay behind because we're going to take a picture like we historically do. Speaking of pictures, if you have any other pictures to send to Evely to put in our little slideshow for the end of the year celebration, please send them to her as soon as possible. End of the year celebration is May 10th. It is going to be in the Well Terrace Suite. Wait a minute. That's the new board celebration, right? I made a mistake. That's the swearing, I'm sorry. The celebration is May 10th, and it's here after the conclusion of our meeting. And then we have the invitation that Lisa sent out to swear in our new board on June 2nd from 10 to 11 a.m. in the Well Terrace Suite. Please come and support your board members. Hand them your transitional board report. Tell them everything they need to know about being successful in the position that you're at. And that's it. Salma, go ahead.
Hello. Okay, we are in the last 3 weeks of the semester. I'm going to say this one last time. Please eat. Please drink your water. Please sleep. Please do your homework. And do all of your responsibilities. Please, please, please do not get senioritis like me. Do not stop working in the last 3 weeks of the semester. It is grind time, and I believe in each and every one of you that you're going to finish the semester super duper uber strong. And if you need support, you know who to ask. I'm here for you. If you need a snack, I have plenty in my office. And yeah, if you need a water bottle, let me know. We'll get you a water bottle for finals week. But yeah, other than that, please take care of yourself, seriously. It's really hard during finals week, and those graduating, got this. You're almost there. You're almost done. 2 more weeks. Alrighty, with that, I'm done.
All right, I am going to adjourn this meeting. Sorry, my watch died at 3:20. Stay behind.